in Windsor, kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married at Childers. Both twins were dead. They'd been killed by their mother. And I just got these old photos here yesterday. This is her, Lina. This is a souped-up version. I never saw this again. They didn't have cars. This was in 43. And they brought in cameras. They didn't have the money to do it. Let me clue you. We didn't have food or squat, okay? So I remember the big camera on stilts and me running away, them trying to make me have my picture taken. And so this is what the Kennedys, Rothschilds, Rockefellers did to me, among all the sick stuff that happened later. And I do mean sick. So this is my grandfather, Edward VIII. George the Sixth. Well, I'm really going to have to do this one over. I'm trying to get it on before it goes off again. This is my grandfather, George the Fifth, married to Mary. And he died in 36. This is my father, who was forced out, Edward VIII, married to George O'Keeffe's sister, Claudia Ruth, my mom. I use Georgia because you don't know who my mother is, Claudia. She was a school teacher. And this is the O'Keeffe genealogy. And by the way, Larry Flynn, I wrote a book about mind control, medical malpractice. I was flown out to his place in one of the doctors I wrote about, Larry McDonald, went down in the KAL passenger plane August 31st of 83. And I wrote about mind control, and then later found out about my kidnapping and real name. So here's my uncle that helped kidnap me. He's illegal George VI, part of the New World Order, the Freemasons. He's with Roosevelt. This is Elizabeth. Illegal brood living in my homes and my money. This is the double that married Wallace Simpson. History would tell you my father married Wallace Simpson. They smeared his name, so he was really married to my mom. And this is, the twins were dead. I said that. Peggy, that's the name they gave me. I had to grow up. They got my identity. This is Lina, a cold-blooded killer who killed her twins. And how she treated me and that family is beyond belief, okay? This is a picture of me. Now, before this goes off, this is my sons, Mark and Scott, heir to the crown after me. And this is a grandson of King Edward VIII and my mom, Claudia O'Keeffe. That's Georgia. And what I want to say here is a lot of the mind control was done in pattern, and it gets into a twin thing and what it's symbolic of and all this. This is my sons Mark and Scott heir. And this is, I was writing about mind control murders, and Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. I was living in Marietta at Moonraker Apartments. Book was License to Kill, MD, a License to Kill. It was about Larry McDonald and other doctors, let me put it this way. And Larry Flint flew me out there during the campaign to replace the Dr. Congressman Larry McDonald, whose plane went down. I'm probably being redundant here. This is to show you I was taken near Huntsville, Alabama, and my kidnapping helped build NASA in different ways. I'm a hostage, so is Great Britain. And this is Mark Kelly, married to Congresswoman Gabby Gifford, she was, and he's a twin to Scott. So they're using my name, Mark and Scott, and the NASA, and ran for Congress and all this, but it's also the mind control murders I'm talking about, done in patterns. So this was in Tucson, Arizona. But I wanted to go to this one because I wanted to get to the use of twins and names, I want to get to Princess Grace. She was from the United States, and of course, I don't want in any way that I'm writing something bad about her. She was married to Prince Rainier of Monaco, and the United States, the press all went bonkers, and not that they shouldn't have. I'm not saying that, but she was one of the mind control murders. When they put antifreeze in me, and I should have died, and I was in April Fool of '80. And this is just one of the episodes where they tried to kill me. And my life's been an ongoing hell. But Princess Grace was killed in a car wreck, taken to the emergency. Well, she was taken to the emergency room afterward and died. But this is in the time span right after I was given the antifreeze and did the book. Now, you don't even know who my mother is. She's a school teacher, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, Windsor, legally wed to my father. She was Irish American Catholic, and she was the Queen Mother. This woman is not. She's married to George VI, illegal, mother of this illegal, kin to the Rothschilds. So I got that in. I just show you a few of the other mind control murders. This was psychiatrist that finished at Virginia Tech, the Fort Hood. He was the Fort Hood shooter, and he's facing the death penalty, I'm pretty sure. And Holmes being treated for illnesses they don't have. They're not insane. They're victims of mind control. And what's going on with this is they're using it, but then one of the agencies has deliberately done it in patterns, so it can be proven. But it's weird. No one wants to go up against the agency that's doing it or admit that the United States is using mind control. But to treat someone you're taking away all the civil rights when they're subject of mind control. Freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and given a command and programmed to modify the behavior. Their decision making doesn't belong to that person anymore, and then to be programmed to go out and kill, and then you get sent on death row or spend the rest of your life in prison. So that's what's going on. It should not be addressed controlling guns, because that's not the problem. It's mind control that should be addressed. And the Aurora, Colorado, these are just an onslaught of some of the mass. You can commit murder one-on-one. You can have a pilot fly into a building, a home, into the ocean. It doesn't matter. You're giving the pilot or the controller commands. You're modifying their behavior, and they're doing as the subject's doing as the group that's programming them and doing all of this is told them to do. And they don't even know it's going to happen themselves. And then they have to pay the price for it. So that's part of what's gone on.